first, let's check in with the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, who has just withstood another coordinated attack from activists claiming that he and his social media site X, formerly Twitter, are anti-Semitic, leading to an advertiser boycott from the likes of Disney and Apple and many more. Of course, these attacks against Musk and X have absolutely nothing to do with anti-Semitism. If that were the case, they'd be boycotting Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram. Have you seen the genuinely anti-Semitic, anti-Israeli content on those sites? Or what about Chinese owned TikTok, which continues to poison the minds of youngsters in the West with far-left lunacy? Only last week, it was trending an Osama bin Laden love-in. Yes, really. No, anyone with a semblance of sense knows that the attacks against Musk and X are about pressuring him to reinstate the censorship and suppression of conservatives, to ban or shadow ban those who pose a risk to the Democrats and their chances of re-election. This attack against free speech is not new, and this week author, investigative reporter Michael Schellenberger gave further testimony about how social media sites conspired with politicians and government agencies to not only suppress free speech, but to deliberately spread disinformation to influence elections.
9 months ago, I testified and provided evidence to the subcommittee about the existence of a censorship industrial complex, a network of government agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security, government contractors, and big tech media platforms that conspired to censor ordinary Americans and elected officials alike for holding disfavored views. I regret to inform the subcommittee today that the scope, power, and law-breaking of the censorship industrial complex are even worse than we had realized back in March. Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and other big tech companies are privately owned, people point out, and free to censor content. And government officials are free to point out wrong information, they argue. But the First Amendment prohibits the government from abridging freedom of speech. The Supreme Court has ruled that the government may not induce, encourage, or promote private persons to accomplish what is constitutionally forbidden to accomplish. And there's now a large body of evidence proving that the government did precisely that. What's more, the whistleblower who delivered the CTIL files to us says that its leader, a quote-unquote former British intelligence analyst, was quote-unquote in the room at the Obama White House in 2017 when she received the instructions to create a counter-disinformation project to, quote, stop a repeat of 2016.
That's why they continue to attack the only social media site that provides something approaching a level playing field, a site that isn't going to be bullied into censoring scientists, for example, warning about the devastating impact of lockdowns, or completely disappear a legitimate, accurate story about Hunter Biden's laptop, which detailed the Biden family's dodgy business dealings. So far, Elon Musk has refused to fall in line with every other social media site to censor and suppress conservative voices. Remember, before he took over Twitter, the site banned the sitting US President Donald Trump, but allowed the mad mullahs of Iran to spew anti-Semitic bile on the site day and night. And there was no advertiser bans happening then. This week, during an interview for the New York Times DealBook Summit, Elon Musk made it clear that he wasn't going to be bullied by activists or advertisers.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
But
Go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob.
Hi, Bob. That's Disney CEO Bob Iger, who a few years ago was wanting to buy Twitter, but is now leading boycotts instead of focusing on his own faltering business, which is facing enormous brand damage due to its relentless leftist activism. Indeed, folks are boycotting Disney, and Elon Musk touched on that too.
But you recognize that some of those people are going to say that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform. And I just wonder and ask you and think about that for a second.
Tell it to the judge.
But the judge is going to be...
The judge is the public.
And you think that the public is going to say that Disney is making a mistake?
Yes.
And they're going to boycott Disney?
They already are.
They already are. Yes, Disney is beginning to wake up to the consumer backlash. It's hard to ignore the numbers, including losing millions of subscribers. And as The Hill reported this week, in a new corporate disclosure, Disney acknowledges that its controversial political and social agenda is costing the company and shareholders. Disney has reportedly lost $1 billion just on 4 of its recent woke movie flops, productions denounced by many critics as pushing political agendas or storylines. Yes, ordinary folks are sick of handing over their hard-earned to companies that hate them and hate their values, and companies that produce substandard entertainment products that appear to prioritise political messaging over entertainment. And as Musk said, they are sick of the corporate virtue signalling from those who pretend to do good while being anything but.
The reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil.
It's something Australian companies should keep in mind, including the long list that backed The Voice and poured a great deal of money into the scam. Consumers will only cop so much before they punish you for trying to influence political and social outcomes that have absolutely nothing to do with the running of your business.